This is huge. Its bricks measure some 30 by 40 meters. It is located in Brazil and it is called Casa de Lava. Besides the normal erosion, there are traces that suggest that the structure has been demolished by some sort of force, and it would be very interesting to find out what kind of force could have destroyed a structure of this size. No scientific research has been conducted so far at this site, or at least the results are not publicly available, and the explanation for this, given by the authorities of Brazil, is that this site is of no particular interest. I don't know how to interpret that, because what could be more interesting than finding out who on earth can handle building blocks that are 40 meters long? There are over 300 pyramids in China. The biggest one is some 300 meters high. That means twice the height of the Great Pyramid in Giza. In the past, the Chinese government most definitely swore up and down that there are no pyramids on the territory of China, covered them with soil, and then planted trees on them, a forest to hide them, and that worked quite well actually. Until people started seeing them from airplanes and taking photos of them. Nowadays, the Chinese government officially accepts and acknowledges the existence of these pyramids. However, their study is absolutely forbidden. There is a death penalty for those who don't like this ban and would try any possible research on their own. Most of them are as well fenced, very well fenced, and there are signs, entry prohibited. You can see this type of fencing on this particular photo. And this photo is actually very rare. It was taken by a tourist who noticed that one of the pyramids has got an entry. And she took the photo, and she managed to take only one, because immediately after that, just out of nowhere, Chinese people appeared and started shouting at her. Obviously, it was absolutely prohibited to take even photographs from outside the no entry zone. And here you see satellite images of one pyramid being connected with straight lines to some sort of what appears to be or could be a military polygon, something of that sort. So it is not out of question that the Chinese are even harvesting energy from the pyramids and using it for something we don't know what. We don't even know if the Chinese pyramids are made of stone or just they're big piles of earth. It appears that there is some harder structure after all, because if it was just a pile of earth, these clearly visible steps wouldn't be preserved so well for many years. However, the stone structures are not visible on the other hand. Are they still covered with a thick layer of earth? We can't say at this point. And if you feel that the information available about the pyramids of China is scarce, then you will be even more disappointed by what you can find out about the pyramids in Australia. The most famous one is near the town of Gympie, and it's amazing how little there is written about it. Nobody knows by whom it was built, or even when, because the official authorities are trying to promote even theories that farmers built these structures just 200-300 years ago to prevent erosion on their fields. Curious how that would work. If anybody can give me some idea how carving this pyramid out of the solid rock could prevent erosion on your field, please let me know in the comments. It will be really interesting. And although it is really not known when and by whom these pyramids were created, it is definitely known that around all of them, all kinds of artifacts are being found, like, for example, a very ancient statue of an Indian goddess, and other interesting things. And even in their current state of not being studied at all, they are the best local tourist attractions. And keeping all that in mind, still the latest news about them is they are going to be leveled to the ground with bulldozers, um, following the order of the local authorities. Isn't that great? These are authentic old photographs of the three pyramids near the Russian town of Newearth. You can see it on Russian territory between China and Japan. The biggest one is 318 meters high, and unfortunately its tip started missing in a recent time when the Russian government simply dismantled more than 70 meters from the top of the pyramid, claiming that they need the building materials for making a port. Inside the pyramid, there were chambers constructed out of very high quality concrete, and they were decorated with various frescoes. However, the entry to those internal chambers was cut off by dynamite explosion in 2001, and it is only in recent years that actually public information has been published regarding these three pyramids. On this photo you see how it looks currently. At the time when the pyramid got destroyed, extremely heavy rain poured over the city, nearby city and area for days and days without stopping, and a very strong winds appeared all of a sudden as well, which is very unusual for the weather in this region. Since 2010, a step pyramid is being excavated at Schwerschelte von Sternenfels, Germany. The excavation is done only by local enthusiasts and is quite hard because the local authorities have been piling up the local garbage here since a long time. So the pyramid is actually buried under a couple of meters of garbage. Its suggested height would be around 4 meters, and only 20 meters are currently in the open and visible. A volcano named Etna is located in Sicily, Italy. Some 30 pyramids are located in the area of the volcano. They haven't yet undergone any research on the part of the official governmental historical institutions. Their building style in overall seems to be fully consistent and very similar to the style of the pyramids on the Azores islands of the Portugal. What you see now is a modern monument built some 40 years ago and dedicated to the unity of France and Spain, something like that. However, the interesting thing is that it most likely is built on an ancient pyramid that is 80 meters high. Although the official version of the existence of this pyramid is that it was built up by piling the earth, the excess earth, when they were building the highway next to it. To me, much more realistic seems the alternative version, and that is that they actually found the pyramid at that time and didn't know what to do with it because it doesn't fit the official history of France. So they just masked it with the modern monument. You see it right now on the map. It says number 5 in purple circle. And I have at least 3 reasons to believe that this is actually an ancient pyramid. First of all, as you can see on the satellite images, it is partially covered by undisturbed earth layers. You can see genuine forest growing on them. So it's not that they made the pyramid and then buried it with more earth on the top. That would be a very strange project anyway. But let's assume everything is possible, that they had this strange project and their pyramid was too big to fit, and so they just built the pyramid partially. And they did not build and insert it under the forest. Let's assume that. But then the problem comes that if the pyramid was same like the earth next to it, there shouldn't be any visible border. While if you look on this photo right now on the screen, where the pyramid and the earth around it meet, they really seem to be quite different. If it was just a pile of earth, the pyramid would seem like a continuation of the earth next to it. However, it seems to have some sort of shell. The pyramid seems to be made of something different than the hill that touches it, and that makes me think that it is not a simple pile of earth removed from the site of the highway construction. And now, the next reason. Okay, they're claiming that they built this pyramid so that it will house their fantastic monument. I beg your pardon, but erecting 80 meters high pyramid in the heart of Europe is quite an unique adventure. It must have been recorded somehow, no? 40 years ago we had not only photography, but also movie industry. There was possibility of video footage, so not a single photo, not a single video clip of how this actually amazing and huge pyramid was built, nothing at all. If you open Wikipedia, you will find in great detail documented the construction of every small monument in Europe, for sure, and nothing about the biggest pyramid. I find it very hard to believe this. What to speak of showing photo of its construction, it's not even included in Wikipedia. And not only Wikipedia, in the general scarcity of information, the difficulty to find an information about this site is highly suspicious by itself. If it was a genuine modern monument, they would have been very proud of it and would gladly tell about it everybody in Europe. However, they are just quite shy about it somehow. And not only that, also, if you carefully look at this satellite image that is currently on the screen, you will see how they have actually adjusted their border post, because this is exactly between France and Spain. They have even adjusted the plan of their buildings on the border to fit them around the pyramid. Well, I don't know how is that. It really seems to me that it was there before this post appeared, maybe thousands of years before this post appeared. And I will consider that to be the most truthful version until somebody sends me actual photos of the site being erected.